Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy. Thank you for joining me, and we're going to have some fun today. Let's get into some tarot. Before I begin, though, I wanted to do one thing. I was receiving a few emails from someone named Jeremy with the tag Geronimo. I've been trying to reply to you, but your inbox is full. I cannot send you an email. Please clear your inbox and then reply to me again, and I will be happy to talk with you. Sorry, I have been unable to message you, Geronimo. All right, let's give a shout out here to everyone in the chat. So, Banner, good to see you. Good evening, Gandhi. D-Love, much love. Carrie Ann, great to see you. Geronimo, good to see you. Nikos Mas, good evening. Mother Rhea, much love. Dorian, hello, how's it going? Metalhead, good to see you. Carrie Ann, much love. Taz, good morning, Taz. All right. Artie Mission, good to see you. All right. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you all for the kind words and for the support and for coming to this live tarot session. All right, let's start by talking about our astrology for the day. So we have the moon in Sagittarius, right? The moon in Sagittarius is pursuing one's dreams, right? Under the moon, Sagittarius is kind of exalted, right? It's that huntress energy. It's that Diana energy. It's pursuing your prey. It's imagining and connecting in that profound, inspired way, right? You're going to want to wander and roam. You are going to feel restless. You're going to want to howl out under the moon, especially combined with this energy of the sun in Leo, which is that boldness, that fiery, unique, passionate self just aching to come out. So embrace this moment. Be that unique person. Pursue what inspires you. And now's the moment when you can find it too, right? The hunter under the moon. The moonlight shines a light on the prey. What do you wish for? What are you pursuing? What are you chasing? Imagine it and set your line of sights. Fire your arrow and pursue it, right? Beautiful. When I was meditating this morning and thinking about how I was going to title today's Okay, am I back? Can everyone see me? Can someone let me know in the chat here? I don't know what happened. Is everyone there? Can anyone see me? Uh-oh. It doesn't look like... Oh. Hey, y'all. Okay, lol. All right. Can you guys see me? All right. Amazing. Okay, glad to be back. Sorry about the little hiccup there. I guess my internet just had a little blip. It was acting up earlier on the Discord. So, yeah, I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, what I was talking about, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about and was meditating today. And I had this image, of transformation and of birth. And I kept thinking of the Aeon card, right? And this idea of judgment and transformation, right? And going through that process and being reborn anew and creating anew into that new generation, right? The Aeon is such complex imagery. And while I was thinking on this imagery, I saw this beautiful picture of Pan, the god Pan as a baby. And it just hit me, that giving birth to the all, right? Embracing the natural experience and going through that pain of birth to become yourself, right? And also to give birth to something greater than the self and to that next generation to transform and to continue to grow and to flow, and that's that energy that I wanted to connect to. You have to go through that pain. You have to be in those moments too, right? When it is hard and trying. But once you go through that process of metamorphosis, you can be reborn anew. You can give birth to something greater than the self through that alchemical pride, through that alchemical act. It's beautiful, it's magical, and that's the energy of the moment. All right, we're now going to start with our Ganapati oracle. Lord Ganesha Ganapati, the guardian of the threshold, Lord of the beginnings, that divine child, the bringer of joy and abundance, inspire us this evening. What is the message? All right. Relaxation. Relaxation. Wow. Beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. That's about taking the time for your self-care, which we all desperately need. We all need those moments, so often, especially when we're dealing with the tarot, because the tarot is really all about pursuing one's goals and transforming. We forget or we neglect those moments where we don't need to be in that active work. We don't need to be in this pressure to perform or to do anything. Sometimes we need to just sit and be with the self, to just enjoy the moment, right? To rest, to sleep. Doesn't matter. Do whatever brings you that comfort. Be in the loving presence of those who bring you joy, right? And that's okay. It's needed. It's more than okay. It's one of the most beautiful things about life, that you can have those moments. To relax is a divine thing. How do they often depict the gods but lounging in relaxation? If you can, take these moments, precious moments, sit with the self, and you can also use that relaxation to your benefit, and you can meditate. When the Buddha is, oops, lost a card here. If you look at a lot of the Buddha imagery, one of the more prevalent ones is you'll see him laying on his side, with his hands under his head. And if you look at the way that the statues are, they tell you how to go about these forms. And this is a form of relaxed meditation onto sleep, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So take these time to relax and recognize also, when Ganapati is coming out and telling us we need to relax, we're in a moment of stress. We're in a moment where our body needs that self-care, and if you don't relax, it will cost you, it will. This is something, people burn out. Stress is one of the most dangerous things. Okay. Let us continue. All right. We are now going to start with our sortes, and we begin with Euripides' 10 plays. This is a collection of a bunch of Euripides' most famous works. So let's see. Oh, and before I begin, for those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature. It comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition, and we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the muses, and we ask them to guide our hand and to inspire us. And we read a passage from these works out of context, and we use our intuition and reason to try and understand the message given to us by those muses. So, muses, guide my hand. Inspire us this evening. What is the message from Euripides? How do we best move in flow? There is no doubt about it. A man's death is a sore loss to a house. A woman's is of little account. Oh. Wow. I think, though, I need to read the above line as well for this, because the above line puts the bottom line in context. This is coming from, Iphigenia. And it says, however, I will not shrink even if I must die to save you. There is no doubt about it. A man's death is a sore loss to his house. A woman's is of little account. A woman's may be of little account in the situation, according to her, but she is the one willing to die to save another. And that is beautiful. And it is something that we need to reflect on, is the differences between men and women, and this reality, right? Why is this coming out of the words of someone, thousands of years ago, and we can make the claim that much is the same today? Oof. All right, let us continue. All right. Arcana Mundi by George Luck. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Arcana Mundi? Inspire us this evening. There is no evidence that Jesus and his disciples believed in the power of the stars, but the story of Jesus' birth is told in the Gospel according to Matthew, not in the other Gospels, brings the Magi from the east to Bethlehem because they had seen a star that had announced them, the birth of the King of the Jews. As pointed out before, these were priest kings or Chaldeans, the same Chaldeans who wrote the oracles. And their knowledge of occult science, including astrology, could easily be defined in terms of chapter 7 of the Wisdom of Solomon. In fact, the Solomon of Wisdom is a combination of the historical Solomon with an Oriental priest king who has occult knowledge, and the book spells out the powers that were commonly ascribed to such divine men at the time of the birth of Christ. Interesting. They say they don't believe in the worship of the stars, yet they're doing what the star worshippers do. And they're welcoming Chaldeans into their world, right? And anyone who follows Ammon's work, for example, will have heard many of these things before, but it's interesting. Right? It's all star worship, in my opinion. It always has been. All right, let us continue. Book 4. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? Inspire us this evening. Okay. The transliteration of 2MH may be admitted as the signature of Nuit, identifying her as the speaker, because these Greek words mean the not, which is her name. Wow. So Nuit in Crowley's conception would be the equivalent of the Greek Nyx, right? Or chaos, depending on how you were to look at it. But it's that primordial night, right? That great blackness, that mother womb. The not, so to speak. Wow. And what's interesting here is it identifies her as the speaker, right? To speak is to give birth, right? Is to project thought into power, right? To create and manifest reality through story, through sound, through vibration, right? In the ancient Indian, in the Vedic, that's the Vak, one of these primordial mother goddesses that sings the Vedas to the rishis. Interesting. Right? The not. I think what we need to take from here is that that great knight, right? That great mother. She is the speaker, and she is the not. Beautiful. Wow. Let's continue. We're now going to go to An Independent People, an epic by Laxness. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Laxness? Inspire us this evening. Statues. What the hell are statues? When the devil did you ever see a statue? I think this is something interesting. When I think on this line, this immediately makes me think of idols, eidolons, right? Which in many pagan traditions are incredibly important, you know? But at the same time, there's a misconception. It's not the statue that's important, but the image, right? The image that the statue represents, right? It's the artist trying to create that inspired image out of material reality that is the statue. And that is a beautiful act of creation, of love, of beauty, right? To the point where it's a divinely inspired work and it can give inspiration, right? It can be the possessor of an eidolon. This is the thing, right? Something can possess the image because you inject the image, you inject meaning into symbola around you, right? There's this power in the act of creation and that inspiration, but it's all about that act and that will and that magic, right? This is why, a lot of the mass-produced stuff is that it's mass-produced. If you really want to connect in a truly profound way, be creative of the self, and it doesn't have to be a statue. It can be anything that you create. It can be a song, it can be a hymn, it can be art or drawing, as simple or as elaborate as you feel is necessary, but just be of that creative impulse, right? Be inspired by what you wish to communicate with. Interesting. Let us continue. We are now going to go to the Psychic Bible by Genesis Peorage and the Temple of Psychic Youth. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Peorage and the Temple? Inspire us this evening. The notion of TV as altar is not new, but once it becomes relevant. We enshrine our video consoles the way we used to enshrine our God images. In the cathode ray, then, maybe the channel we must find, a true network to tune in, the remote control of an infinite, viewing its illusionary passion plays in a plane of static radiation. Are we the image on the screen? Oh my gosh. Thank you, Muses. That's some deep, deep synchronicity. The notion of TV as altar is not new, but once again becomes relevant. We enshrine our video consoles the way we used to enshrine our God images. In the cathode ray, then, we may be the channel we must find. A true network to tune in, the remote control of an infinite, viewing its illusionary passion plays on a plane of static radiation. Are we the image on the screen? Compound that to modernity and to what we are doing now. Are you tuning in? Are you the image on the screen? Is it all an illusion? Where are the God images? Oh, wow, there's much to meditate on that, Sortes. Oof, oof. Okay. I think we have to end there. I don't know how that can be topped. All right, let us go to our tarot proper. All right. Before I begin, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference when you like everything. It boosts things in the algorithm, and it's a good little blessing and just very helpful. So embrace the good karma. Give me a like. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, send me an email, snappydts@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy, Lady Snappy. All right. Thank you so much. Everything is in the description. So let's begin. We're going to use the Thoth Tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to invoke that divine Chronos, Saturn. And we're going to ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and put it on the plate, to examine the present, to expose our conflicts. And we ask ourselves, how do we rise above? How do we evolve? How do we move and flow? And how do we manifest our true will? And as always, the center card is the most important card. Abundance. Abundance. The driving force of our moment is this love in abundance. Seek out that love, that pursuit, right? The 3 is expansive energy, right? Of growth, of family, of that divine trinity that makes up the entire basis of the universe in the Pythagorean. The triangular, right? The drawing down of the stars, that 666 of Helios that is represented in Pascal's triangle. Deep magic in this kind of stuff. And that trinity, that loving trinity, produces the unfolding of all creation, right? That love trinity, we have various versions of this, you know. One of my favorites is the version where you have from the great Mother Night, Nyx, right? That chaos gap is born Fanes. Fanes is the representation of all life, animal, male, female, right? And also out of that chaos comes desire, Eros. And Eros afflicts Fanes. And in their madness, Fanes rips themselves apart and becomes the unfolding of creation. It's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. But it's also violent, right? And intense love and passion. It's intense energy, but it is creative energy that moves in generation and flow. And that is our center. That's what's guiding our moment. All right, let's see what's on the other side. Wow. And we have another trinity. Virtue, the 3 of Wands, that fiery light of passion, combined with that abundance. This is us pursuing and manifesting our desires, our love, that true love, that true connection that is both passionate and emotive, right? That's fulfilling. Such incredible energy here, right? The 3 of Wands is Hecate Trivia, right? The one who shines a light in the 3 worlds to seek out Persephone, the lost Corey for the wailing mother Demeter, right? And through her passion is able to scour the depths of the underworld and retrieve the maiden. Powerful energy that can pierce all corners of reality, but you must remain true to that passion, to that image, to that focus. What are you searching for? Who is your maiden? All right, let's continue. And now we have the Ace of Cups. On top of this expansive abundance, we have the birth of new connections, new fulfillment, right? The cup is that holy grail of creation, that loving potion of transformation, that energy of giving birth, right? That aeon reflected down upon us in the material. And now we're seeing it here in our presence. And this is about embracing and reflecting upon these new relationships, upon these new connections and seeking them out, right? Embracing that change in the newness. Interesting. Let's see where this is going. All right, we now do our top row. From that abundance comes the Princess of Wands, right? Amazing, incredible energy, that new birth, that fiery of fire. The Princess of Wands is that energy that can grow and become that transformative power, that can become that priestess, that queen, that knight. It just needs to be nurtured, right? That savior energy, the one who has that inspiration, that muse, that divine child. This energy just needs to be nurtured. It needs to be cared for. It needs that loving mother and that guiding father. And with that energy, she can become that divine queen. She can become that priestess, that savioress, right? To me, this is always representative of that Medea energy, that Helen energy. All right, let's continue. There's interference, though. There's mental blockage here about accepting this new reality and this new existence. There's something that is causing a overthinking, right? When we see the eight is painful energy because it is not just simply overthinking. We saw that in the previous card of interference, the 7. No, this is overthinking to the point of prevention, where we are holding ourselves back, where we are interfering in our actions and preventing ourselves from doing what is necessary, right? Self-defeatism in action, right? We've all had this energy, where we just don't do something, you just don't send that email to your work. You just don't call your partner or your boss or whoever. You just avoid, right? You refuse. But it's painful energy, that interference, right? It's rebounding energy. And the question is, why are you interfering? Where is this overthought coming from? The next way up with this kind of thinking leads to cruelty, where you are actively self-harming, no longer simply interfering, but harming. So this is a dangerous energy to be in, and it must be reflected upon, right? We want to lessen that painful thinking and reduce it down back to that balance of reason, that middle path, that 6, that is science. And it can be done through this connection to the natural world, through an embrace of that intuitive energy, through an acceptance of transformation, right? This really makes me think of this, you have to embrace the painfulness of transformation. You have to allow it to go through and stop interfering, stop preventing, stop doubting, stop, getting in the way of yourself, right? Do you want this birth? Do you want this relation? Do you want this new transformative energy, this inspiration, this muse? Quit preventing yourself. All right, let's continue. Oh, wow. A rock in a hard place. The issue here is one of balance. On the other side, we have defeatist energy, believing that we are incapable, that we can't. Where in the previous card, we had an abundance of overthinking. Here, we have a lack of reason. Here, we have that where we're not seeing things clearly. We are instead interpreting things in a way that is poor to ourselves. We are not showing up with that energy to defend ourselves and protect ourselves and to really transform and to grow. It's about admitting defeat and not moving forward, stagnant energy. So this is about reflecting upon past mistakes and being bound down by past thinking, allowing these things to cloud your judgment in the present and prevent you from growing into the future. But there needs to be a recognition here. Again, we see, right, the 5 is one away from that middle path of the 6, that science, that reason. If you simply look at the situation and you recognize that you are not defeated, that you can overcome and transform and grow beyond past mistakes. Maybe the past mistakes aren't as bad as you viewed them, right? And maybe the future is brighter than you can imagine. Sometimes we have to really examine and accept where we're at and let go of the past. Let go of that defeatism. You are not bound by your previous mistakes. You are not bound by the previous ills that befallen you. None of us are a victim if we do not choose to be. All right, let's continue. Emperor energy. Wow. Emperor energy. Intense energy. But this is a call, right? You want to bring that abundance into your life, that princess. The emperor is that provider. The emperor is that divine masculine that can be that energy that the child needs, right? We often speak of the love of the mother and that ability of the mother to care and to be that nurturing force in a child's life. And that's true. That's necessary. But equally so is that masculine. And the emperor can be that masculine, that the protector, provider, and teacher and guide. Right? This is that energy of being able to do all these things. The issue with the emperor is that selfish energy, right? Incredible competency. How is it going to be placed? Is that emperor going to become that divine father? Is going to pursue that loving abundance and that connection? It's going to take responsibility for the child and provide and protect. That's beautiful energy if you can rise to that energy. It requires discipline and strength, and it requires selflessness. Right? The emperor, just like the empress, is of duality and multiplicity. They represent the masculine in its multitude of forms, good and bad, black and white, So remember that. Let's continue. It's up to you what kind of emperor you wish to become, or what empress. See, strength. You have to have the strength to persevere. The emperor is the one who can definitely manifest that strength, the strength to build and maintain the tower, to provide, right? That masculine in its ultimate protector role, ultimate authority on earth, wielding that scepter through that divine power of the nine. The nine is the most powerful number in the Pythagorean, right? That fiery strength, that powerful club, right? That Herculean ability to transform the world around you. It's incredible, passionate energy. And it is up to you to embody that emperor and to wield the club for that power of bringing in that loving abundance, of connecting to that divine child. Let's see where this is going. Yeah. This is painful energy for many of us. Becoming the emperor, right? Anyone can be an emperor. Anyone can embody that energy. But it is difficult energy. Many of us do not want to be the one who makes decisions. Many of us do not wish to wield power, to be in control. We fear these things, or we are taught to fear them and to humble ourselves before them. We're afraid that we could not live up to that emperor, right? We are afraid that we will invoke the tyrant, the mirror image of the emperor. But this is something you must rise to. This is something that through that power of virtue, right? That 3 of Wands, you can be that true emperor. You can be that provider and protector, which is beautiful energy. And what we see here is the Fool. This is telling you to embrace this energy, to embrace this role, to take on that garb, embody the emperor. And anyone can embody the emperor. It's about imagining yourself and wearing the mask and doing what is necessary. The emperor provides, the emperor builds, the emperor protects, the emperor teaches. Make the leap, become that authoritative power, and be true. Beautiful. All right. Let's see where this is going. Before I flip my camera, though, please, once again, give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out, snappydts@gmail.com, or you can message me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy, Lady Snappy. You'll find everything in the description. Here we go. Let's take a look. So here is our full Saturn square. Okay. So we'll start here. How do you overcome that interference? Through this focus, through this passion, right? What are you pursuing? What are you after? What do you want? And having the virtuous energy to remain focused on that image, right? To have the virtue to be able to overcome. You know, a lot of interference is this belief that we are incapable, whereas that virtue energy is the belief we are capable. You know, the belief that we can be pure, you know, that we can overcome, that we're not, you know, interfering energy is that why even try? You know, being in that virtuous energy is we're going forth in pursuit to save that other, right? And having the strength to be virtuous, right? Really embodying this loving, passionate energy, right? Fixating upon this so that you can manifest that power into the future and overcome this mental interference. Move towards and seek out that love, right? That passion, what drives you, what inspires you, what you're searching for. Amazing. All right, our middle, that abundance energy, right? To gain this abundance, you must embody the emperor and you must take responsibility for the princess, right? Nurture her in that loving abundance and you will receive loving abundance. But you must take this seriously and you must embody that authority, take responsibility, be that protector, right? You have to be the one who provides and who builds and who sustains. Difficult energy, but rewarding and powerful energy and needed energy. Someone has to, right? And you will, all of us will at some point have to take this energy into our life for periods of time. These are how the cycles flow. All right, Ace of Cups, right? This is that new love, new connection, birth, transformation, that joy, seeking this into our love and life and being transformed by it, right? And it's about chasing this, right? You want to be that fool who pursues this love and this abundance with the totality of his being, of their being, that leaping forward into it, right? With that full focused and that foolish pursuit. And when you can do that, you can overcome this defeatist energy. You can forget the past and just embody and move into the future. Take the leap, chase after love, fill your cup. Beautiful. Wow. All right, now let's do our cross. We start here. Have the passionate strength to overcome this defeat. Pursue that loving energy. What is inspiring you? What do you wish for? Manifest it. Move towards this loving abundance, and that defeat will be defeated. But you must have the strength to persevere, the strength to connect to this, right? Because this is coming in time. When I'm getting the sense here is part of the defeat is that it's not here now, right? And there's an energy of want. And this is a longing as well. But you must have the strength to bring this, to manifest it. You must have the strength to persevere through the times of wait, through the times of trial. Focus on what you desire. If you truly wish to manifest something, you must maintain that absolute focus and not fall to defeat. Just because it has not appeared yet doesn't mean it will not. The key is manifestation and drawing that light, bringing it into your life, chasing this abundance with the fullness of your being, right? And persevering through the present until it can manifest. All right, now let's look at this. Yeah. Instead of overthinking and interfering, just take the action. Just go for it. Just take the leap. Just throw yourself. Pursue this loving abundance. Pursue this connection. Right? Go forth. Have the audacity to try. You know? Forget that interference. Stop overthinking. Stop thinking entirely. The fool doesn't think. The fool is dumb enough to grab the bull by the horns and see where he winds up. The fool is dumb enough to jump off the cliff, right? Into the spiral of creation. All right. Interesting. To the fool go the spoils. Beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. All right. Let us do one final sortace and we'll call it an evening. I hope that resonated with you. Certainly resonated with me. And for our final sortace, we're going to go to George Bernard Shaw, Don Juan in Hell, which is an excerpt from his play Man and Superman, I believe. Yeah, Man and Superman. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Shaw? Inspire us this evening. The statue. I am sorry to shock you, my love, but since Juan has stripped every rag of decency from the discussion, I may as well tell the frozen truth. Wow, the statue. I am sorry to shock you, my love, but since Juan has stripped every rag of decency from the discussion, I may as well tell you the frozen truth. Oof. Shock. The statue. Wow. This is a really interesting thing to think on. This idea of that frozen static truth, you know, there's something to be found too in the statues. Profound truth frozen in time, a divine image that can stay with us and cross time and space, that can have that frozen truth. You can see the inspiration written on the faces of the muses. You can see the inspiration in those eidolons. They preserve the image. True art possesses a daimon, and you can connect to it. Is an eidolon, a vessel, right? And it's beautiful. The statue, the frozen truth. Wow. And this is, I think, also about going to the past and looking at everything and exposing it, you know, recognizing that we have to look at these images to see that frozen truth. You know, Juan, this too. Who is Juan? Juan has stripped every rag of decency from the discussion. Right? Don Juan is that erotic desire. Oh, wow. Interesting. What a message to leave on. All right. Thank you, everyone. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you all joining me. And I hope I see you again tomorrow for our daily tarot reading. Peace and love. Take care. Until next time.